seated patients and number of referrals are two different things. And so we look at the number of referrals plus 7 or 8 different metrics that we take into consideration to create that overall rank. That was the main thing that we were trying to figure out when Cam was talking to some of these doctor friends of his. Well, I know my top doctors, and they sent over this spreadsheet, and it's like, who manages this thing? Like, how much time does it take to put this thing together? Like, there's got to be a better way. And so that's really Referral Lab.
Welcome to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Ann Duffy. Dental Entrepreneur Women is here to dive deep and share stories with the mission to inspire, highlight, empower, and connect all women in dentistry.
All right, ladies, here we go. Welcome to the Just Do It podcast. I am so happy that you're here with me today because I have two amazing do's with me that actually are here because they sponsored another do through their company. And if that isn't about women supporting women, I don't know what it is. But let me tell you a little bit about these two beautiful ladies before we get started. With over 2 decades of leadership and management and marketing, Christy Carver brings both expertise and heart to Referral Lab as the customer success manager. Her career spans operational management, DSO integrations, and 7 years as a small business owner. She is driven by integrity, faith, strong values, and a genuine passion for helping others succeed. Based in North Carolina, Christy is a proud single mom who loves traveling, reading, spending time with friends, family, and cheering on the Green Bay Packers. Yeah. I love Aaron Rodgers, by the way, but I'm a Panther fan now, but that's okay. We all come to the table together. But let me tell you a little bit about our other do on here. Jessica Magnatta, MBA, is a growth manager at Referral Lab, where she focuses on helping specialty practices leverage referral data to drive measurable growth. With an MBA and a background in team operations, she is passionate about bridging the gap between clinical workflows and data-driven advancement strategies. She currently lives in Chicago and loves checking out new restaurants and using her passport to travel. When the weather permits, she loves to walk with her rescue dog along Lake Michigan. Jessica has an insatiable sweet tooth, so you can count on her to join you for a little treat or to supply one. Oh my gosh, I love knowing both of you. Please, everyone that's listening, welcome Christy Carver and Jessica Magnatta.
Thank you so much.
You guys are so cool. I love it. And Jessica, I love that you live in Chicago. Our youngest lives in Chicago, and I love driving down the Lakeshore Drive and the lake and the boats and the city on the one side and the lake on the other. It's pretty magical. So kudos to you. And Christy, we're both in North Carolina. So
I know.
You're right at the highway.
North Carolina. We get all the seasons without the freezing cold and the snow.
I know it. We moved 10 times before we got to North Carolina, and that was our last stop. We've been here for 34 years, and we weren't going to leave. So, I get it. But the joy for me, talking to both of you, is I get to go to Chicago every once in a while to visit our youngest son, and there's soon to be 5 children because they're having another one, and I'm allowed to tell the world now. So, okay, they had 4.
That's a house full.
That's a house full. Wow. Yeah. That's a house full. I tell you, those surprises sometimes are just the best. And so Tom and I are really excited about that. But tell me a little bit about each of you. And I want to know how you came to Referral Lab and why you love the company so much.
I'll start. So I came to Referral Lab. I was actually working for a DSO at the time. And one of the offices we purchased was using Referral Lab. And so as I was getting to know the marketing individual, she kept referencing Referral Lab. And finally, on like the 3rd call, I'm like, Danielle, what is Referral Lab? Like, I've been kind of faking it here, understanding what you're talking about, but I have no idea what you're talking about. And so she literally showed me the tool and was like, this is how I do my job. And I was like, why is not every specialty practice using this tool? Like, I don't understand. It seems like a no-brainer. And so we just slowly integrated it into all of our perio practices. And opportunities kind of switched and things turned in the DSO space. And I had an opportunity to work with Cam on this side of things. And during that year that I worked with the DSO and working with Cameron, we just really aligned on so many things. And, running a small business, I learned how important it is that you stay true to those core values of who you are and who you want to put your time and energy into. And so, when the opportunity aligned for Cam and I to work on the same team, it just seemed like a no-brainer too. And so now I get to help over 300 practices every day use our tool. It was almost serendipitous, and it was like one of those little God wink moments. And so I'm so grateful to be on this side and to help teams.
I love that story because a couple of things, Christy. When I started my first side gig, it was with OxyFresh, which was a toothpaste and mouth rinse that eliminated halitosis and it helped periodontal. And I was like, the whole world needs to know about this. And I think for women, it's so important to have a passion for what you're selling, for what you're backing, right? So, I mean, kudos to you and kudos to Cameron that he saw that in you and you guys can work together now because that just gets you up in the morning because you got a reason bigger than yourself.
And I remember my dad telling me when I was very young, you don't put your name on anything that doesn't have all of you in it. And so I really carry that with me with everything that I do. And so I really felt that connection with Referral Lab. And so it was amazing to use it in my other position, but then to now be a part of it, it's something that I can stand true to. And I know the quality of the tool and the people behind it. And even though we work in software, we're very people forward, and that makes a difference.
It sure does. So Jessica, tell me, how did you come to Referral Lab? And tell me a little bit about what Referral Lab is. Because when you hear Referral Lab, you're not really sure if it's a dental lab, if it's, data-driven, if it's, bringing in people. So go ahead, Jessica, tell us how you got there. Tell us the origin story of you joining, and then tell us a little bit about the process.
I had known one of the co-founders, Cameron Full, for about 10, almost 15 years now. And I remember him probably about 6 or 7 years ago chatting at dinner and saying he's so excited. He's got this new project that he's working on, and it's going to help so many providers, and it's going to be able to give them these business insights that they've only been able to do by using very complicated spreadsheets or trying to pull reports and compile data that way. And, I got to watch from the outside, right? And see this thing start to grow. And maybe about 2 years ago, Cameron started poking me, being like, come work for me. And so finally I said, okay, tell me a little bit more about this. Let's have the discussion, right? So here it is, over a year into this. And I am really proud to say that I work for Referral Lab. We're a software company, and we really focus on being able to offer providers the ability to see who their top referring practices and doctors are. We're able to give them tangible data in reports that they can understand and that they don't need to have 20 steps to get to.
Right.
We help teams make sure that the patients are getting the attention that they need, that they want each patient to be able to have, but don't always have the bandwidth to manage it all. So the software takes over some of that mental load that comes working in a practice. And ultimately, we're able to present the data in a way that helps the practice ownership or administrators figure out, we like to say, which levers to pull, right? Do we need to work on efficiency, or do we need to increase number of referrals or referral sources? And so this tool started with a couple of reports in mind and has just grown over the last 5 years of subscribers to be able to incorporate their requests, their needs, their suggestions.
Yeah.
And so for me personally, I value feedback so very much, and am constantly asking myself, okay, what can I do better? What can I improve? What can I tweak? And to be able to have that personal priority of mine be in line with who I work for, what I represent, that makes it that much easier to smile and try and talk to providers about how we can help them with their practices.
So, Anne, how really Referral Lab started was, it's almost easier to call it opportunity tracker, because it was really meant to figure out who are our top referring doctor, right? Doctors were always saying, oh, I know my A's, I know my B's, I know my C's. What does that mean, right? A lot of consultants and people that are working with their business hat on, right? They create these Excel spreadsheets and they come up with all this data because dentists went to school to be dentists. Specialists went to school to be specialists. They didn't go to school to run a business. And we all know that if you are a dentist and you have a business, you have to do both, right? And so
Yeah.
it's figuring out how to really manage both of those because their specialty is in teeth and that's what they should be doing. And so Referral Lab just kind of helps them figure out who are those top doctors with the whole picture. Because if we're just looking at our practice management software, it's just number of seated patients, total production, right? Well, we know that seated patients and number of referrals are two different things. And somewhere the verbiage kind of got intertwined. And so we look at the number of referrals plus 7 or 8 different metrics that we take into consideration to create that overall rank. And that's really where Referral Lab started. And then all the other stuff kind of grew from it. But that was the main thing that we were trying to figure out when Cam was talking to some of these doctor friends of his. Well, I know my top doctors and they sent over this spreadsheet and it's like, who manages this thing? Like, how much time does it take to put this thing together? Like, there's got to be a better way. And so that's really Referral Lab.
Your avatar, is it specialist or general dentist?
Specialist.
Love that so much because you really don't have any idea who those top doctors are and you want to be their friend. You want to build those relationships. Is that what you're trying to do with this? Like, okay, let's build the relationship. Let's show them how well we do. There's so much to you guys after I was 46 years in dental hygiene, right? And how many times I will tell you that the referral slip that we gave to the patient didn't really go anywhere a lot of the times. And the other thing, I don't know if you heard Amber Young's Learning Crew recently, but I thought of you because she went to the general dentist and referred out to an oral surgeon for her oral cancer. They actually called her 2 weeks later and asked her why she hadn't followed up. The disconnect between referring and getting that butt in the chair, if it would have broken down, Amber wouldn't be with us now. And so the importance of that is absolutely huge. And it's genius that it's actually being documented and organized and listing that off of the front office and even the doctor themselves, the general practitioner, because they're like, I wonder if he ever got that. I wonder if he's referring or if they drop off, why aren't they referring? And so maybe you need to go to have lunch with them and say what's going on, because it's, as you all know, and we all know this, dentistry is relationship based.
100%. It's all about relationships. And that most expensive patient is the patient that left without saying yes, that we've scheduled. They sat in our seat. Our treatment coordinator talked to them. Our doctor has talked to them. They need care or we wouldn't have given them a treatment plan, right? They left. We're a super busy practice. We got 1,000 balls in the air. I have another patient coming in. I forget about that patient.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're not following up. Referral Lab kind of steps in and takes that. Because one of the examples we use is very similar to what you just said about Amber. There was a whole bunch of patients in a treatment undecided bucket in a practice. And actually Cameron was there that day and he was like, what are you doing with these patients? Why aren't you calling them back? And they're like, well, we don't have a process. We don't know. We're so busy. And so they literally went through, and I think he said it was like the second or third phone call was a cancer patient just waiting for someone to call him back.
Because if they don't call, the patient doesn't think it's that important. I mean, this is just like so valuable and just super. And I love Cameron, by the way. I don't think I've ever met him. Well, I need to meet this guy. I mean, what a great guy that he hires. He saw something in each one of you and actually recruited you, not for your expertise in building a company, but for the culture and the way you carry yourself, the intellect, the care, the culture. He can train you on the other stuff, on the business, but he hires for strengths, which I love that. And Christy, I did have your strengths. Oh my God, there's so arranger, responsibility, belief, achiever, individualization. Do you not feel like you're in the right spot?
Oh, it was so, when I took that for the due, and I was like one of those ones that was like dragging her feet. I'm like, yes, I'm going to get to it. I promise I'm going to do. And as soon as I did it and they popped up, I was like, ooh, that's a little eerie. That is so me on like every single thing.
It makes you just absolutely love your job that much more because you know. And principle number one is look for opportunities in building your strengths. And I can see Jessica is trying to find her top 5 strengths right now.
I am.
I can see it. She's like, I got to figure this out.
I still have actually my
She has her little badge thing.
badge.
Yay.
Never leave home without it.
Never. Okay, tell me.
Achiever.
Yeah, both of you have achiever. Okay.
Woo.
Oh, yes.
I know.
And I love that. I love that. Growth manager. You need to have a little woo for growth, right? Keep going.
Communication,
Yeah.
positivity, and restorative.
Oh my gosh. You two are a dynamite team. You're the A team. And then you're leaning
with the
into
yin to the yang.
the yin to yang. I
Mhm.
love it. Yes, it's so perfect. Lean into those ladies. Another plug for strengths. Dr. Valerie Wu told me this the other day. It's so much detail and so much research behind it, which reminded me what you said about Referral Lab. So every time somebody calls or every new patient, Jessica's like, okay, so how can we make it better? How can we do this? How can we implement that? You're the yes person here.
Mhm.
And the same thing with do. And I didn't even know this. The perspectives, if you will, of the
Yeah.
strengths that comes to you, it will be different depending on the order. So if you took it again and your order was out of your, say
Right.
for Christy, because I'm looking at your strengths, arranger was number 5,
Mhm.
and your arranger, what the narrative is going to be different the second time
Oh.
around because of all the history and all the science behind it, which is
Right.
what you're doing with Referral Lab. And a dental office cannot gather this kind of information on their own.
No.
I mean, you could try doing.
they can try a spreadsheet and some of them do, but like you're not going to get all the output that we give you at the touch of a button. I mean,
Yes.
the amount of time, like I've seen some amazing spreadsheets. Don't get me wrong. Like there are some very talented office managers and practice admins out there. Like blows my mind. But I'm like, how much time does it take you every month to just put the spreadsheet together, let alone get all the data? Right. And so Referral Lab is almost like a CRM that sits next to their practice management software that not only does who is our top referring doctors, but it manages a lot of the marketing stuff, workflow. Accountability is a huge thing. And we can't run a practice without accountability. Right. And so
Yeah.
a lot of practices don't, though, because they don't have an office manager or the doctor thinks that he is leading the team when he's really in people's mouths all day and he has no idea what's happening. You know, and so it just kind of helps manage all of that and be able to see it very easily and to get those reports that the doctors want. That's all they really care about.
But also that report is going to help them build relationships and stronger relationships because everybody that needs referrals needs a really strong relationship with the doctor that's referring. And that's just how it is. And then so if you have that without having to think it through or go through the spreadsheet or try to figure that out, and it just pops with, is this like just a little button that you can click and you just can see it that way? Is that?
We get as granular as figuring out like treatment conversion. How many patients did we talk to? How many said yes? How many didn't? What was our average accepted? What did we present? Maybe one associate is a little bit lower than the other, and the principal doctor is really great at presenting big cases, but the one associate isn't very good just out of college. Okay, well, we got a training opportunity here. This principal doctor can show that associate what they need to do to close the bigger cases, or maybe one treatment coordinator works better with one doctor. Like it gets even that granular.
Which is so valuable for both the senior doctor and the associate. Because the associate, in fact, I just saw something recently that Eric Rowan had said that the associate says, I need more patients. Maybe you just need to close the gap between accepting treatment, delivering it, and accepting it. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Because it goes out into the ethers, right? And just like, okay, well, it's out there somewhere, and you use the same spiel over and over, and it's not working, but you don't know it for 5 years in.
Yep, because you don't have the numbers in front of you. The thing is, numbers don't lie. And so when you have the numbers, you can't really argue with that.
I have to excuse myself. I have a demo I need to jump on. So I am going to say thank you so much and really appreciate your time.
Hey, I appreciate you too. Good to hear your story, and cheers to you this afternoon. And I love that your work ethic. Okay, so I'm not going to blow that off, but I'm really proud of you. Go for it. Go for it, Jessica. And we'll carry on. Thanks, dear.
All right.
Bye, dear. This is great that you can work with such a great team, Christy. And clearly you know Referral Lab inside and out.
I really do. I work in it every day, but I was able to be on the other side. I think that's where I can connect with teams is because I've been in their shoes. I've worked with them. I've implemented the tool. So I get where they have gaps. Or like you said, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so if I can make their life easier and run more efficiently, then I want to do that. And I want to do that all day long, right? And so before coming on Referral Lab, I worked with Cam probably 1.5 years. And then I've been here 2.5 years. That's a long time to learn a tool and to also understand what makes a good practice. And if one practice isn't doing that, I have the experience of working with 300 other practices and I can say, this is what I'm seeing other practices do. Or have you thought about looking at it this way? And so that's a value that they can't get anywhere else because
Yeah.
they only
Oh.
have the blinders of their practice.
Well, there's so many nuances with having a successful practice now. I mean, this is like something that a lot of them, it's like at the bottom of the list, building your referral base to that point. But if you are a specialist in dentistry, it's probably the most important thing you can do. And you want to do it with authenticity, with people, men and women that you respect and you love and you feel comfortable with. And then you want to put your foot on the gas when you find those people. And they have to earn your respect, and it goes vice versa. So I believe with the two of you here and the faith that Cameron has in you two to continue to build, I think the sky's the limit for you. And also shout out to him and you and Jessica for sponsoring Marnie on our summer
that was
cover.
A great fit. Yes, for sure.
I'm sure you pushed it just a little bit. Tell me.
So I've known Marnie a long time. Gosh, I'm trying to think. My son is 16, and I think we met when he was like 2 or 3 the first time. And so, I've seen her change in roles and grow. And so it's so fun to see her thrive and where she is now. And so to be a part of helping her kind of achieve greatness and success, it's a really fun opportunity.
I just love women supporting women. That's a do principles is good dues find good dues. And then Cameron apparently is a dude. And I just said this recently in a post. So we are at 306 for dudes. And so his number, 306. So you give him, that is D, capital D, lowercase e, capital W, lowercase d. Okay. A dude is a man that supports women in dentistry. And he's not only supporting both of you, Christy and Jessica, who are on this podcast with me today, which are amazing women, but he's supporting Marnie. And that's a trickle-down effect, I think, isn't it? Also, Jessica's not here. Did she have a dental background before she came into this?
She did not. Okay. She had no dental background. So she's worked more in like operations and that kind of thing. And so when we were looking to hire, because it was probably a year and a half of us working together, Cam and I, and we realized we need help. There's only so much bandwidth we have, right?
Yeah.
And so, and working with specialists, and from going to them, a lot of those SAPs, FAP, like all of those organizations and meetings are super important to get in front of doctors and teams. And we're only 2 people. I'm a single mom and he comes first. So, my bandwidth there was a little bit smaller. And so when we were looking to hire, it was someone that could really, what she does, the growth part, and to, go to shows and go to things and to really help grow us as a company, because we were at a place where I really found my niche at coaching and helping those practices that are on the tool. But obviously we need new practices to come in for me to help also coach. And so it was an opportunity to bring her in and help grow us on that front end.
Yeah. And that is super cool. So again, this is what's so neat, Christy, is that when we started Do, it's about all career paths. If you're a woman and you have a toe dipped in dentistry, you are welcome to join us. And I like the idea of bringing outside into dentistry because I think we need it. It's a little insular with just, how many times do you have somebody that's not in the right seat because they were in dentistry, but the expertise that she brings with growth management or MBA and all of those things, she's a do, and you found her and hired her. And I love the teamwork that you guys have. You could tell that you both really admire each other and you're a good team. I could tell that when I saw you in person, and then living your strengths. If she's a woman, she's exactly the one to go to the shows. And
she is, and that, and it fits her perfect. I am aged well enough to know where my strengths are and also where I find joy. I'm getting close to that 5-0 mark. And, I've worked for a long time and I know where I want to spend my time too. And not that I don't enjoy that kind of thing, but I knew I was better suited to help teams. Like that's really where I shine. And so that's where I can help Cam and the team the most. And so she can help with the woo and being out there and,
and communicating. And so that's the beautiful part of strengths, is actually validating that you're not crazy and you can do everything. As a single mom, you have done everything. But then when you actually figure out and are validated what you're really good at, what brings you joy easily, what makes, when you put a little experience and a little knowledge, you're going to be on rocket fuel like you are. I can just see it when you talk about it. I mean, you just light up. And I love that you found your niche here and you believe so strongly in it. So that is just super cool. Did you learn strengths through Do, or did you know about it before?
So I knew about it a little bit before. So I also was sorority president, Panhellenic president, all of those things for college, and then helped bring some sororities onto campuses around here. And we kind of did some of that within that framework. And then I also worked for corporate America at some point in my life. And they did a little bit of that. It wasn't that specific one, but I had an idea and I had taken some years ago, and it definitely changed in a good way. Right? Because it was where I was in that point of life. And now this is where I am now. And I mean, seriously, reading that, you said the word validated, like it really validated the things that I knew, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it or know exactly. And so, yeah, I was super grateful for that opportunity.
Like we said, strengths validates because of the science behind it. It's like, dang, I am good at this. And I think for some reason, when you get that report and you kind of dive into it, you actually feel like you can declare it. You know how we kind of shrink back? Well, I'm pretty good at arranging things and I'm responsible, but dang, I'm sorry, they're God-given talents and I'm good at it. So what you going to do?
For
and
sure.
belief. And when you even started talking earlier about belief, you just were lighting up about how I knew that everybody needed to have this and I just had to share it with the world. That just shows how that is such a strong strength, I guess, talent that you have. Also, both of you achievers. Of course, that's why you were president of this and president of that and joining all the clubs and bringing everything in and doing it well because you're responsible, because that makes a good leader also, Christy. And then in individualization, you can see each person for who they actually are and really, hone in on their gifts. You're really cool. And I just love getting to know you better. I can't wait to see you at the retreat coming up in November on the 12th through the 14th.
I'm so excited. And it's like coming home for me because I think I told you this. I used to live in Charlotte. I went to Fort Mill High, go Yellow Jackets.
Yay!
So, and my goddaughter lived in Charlotte, so I get down there quite a bit. So next time I'm down, we'll have to have coffee or something.
Oh, would you please do that? And we'll get a couple dudes together and we'll meet for a coffee or lunch or something like that.
Yeah,
it would be really
that.
fun. Let me know. We'll have our own little do meetup here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, I would love that.
I think we covered all the questions. What kind of results are practices seeing after implementing Referral Lab? You want to speak to that?
Again, it's almost like the CRM that runs next to your practice management. So the results they're seeing is things that some of them never had before, right? And so it's that organization of all of the data, being able to see, how we're converting treatment, not just how many referrals we're receiving, how many are we getting seated? Out of those, how many are we presenting treatment to? Out of those, how many are saying yes? How many of those are undecided that we're just letting walk off into the abyss until they call us back, which we know they're not going to call us back unless they're in pain? Are we doing all of those things? And then once we get into that marketing role, where do we put the stuff? Where do we put the data? Where do we put the outreach? And then if we have a study club event, how do we know it was successful? What does successful mean? What's that ROI? And so one of our reports shows, what did they send before the event? 30, 60, 90, 120 days. And then what did they send after the event? Do we count that successful? And did we, gain anything from that?
Wow, that is really important. And the other thing you said that I wanted to comment on before we get off here is that also it's really irritating when you go to the dentist or the doctor and they have no clue if you've had your treatment done or if you haven't had your treatment done or how it went. You're just like, have you read my chart? Do you know what I'm saying? This is super cool. So how do we find Referral Lab? How do we find and get in touch to get a demo and to reach out to you or Jessica or both?
Yep. So on our website, it's just referrallab.io, and that takes you to our website. You're able to click demo and you can schedule a demo from there. You can email me at Christy, CHRSTY, at referrallab.io. Jessica, all her information is on the website too, but it's just Jessica at referrallab.io. So we tried to make it as easy as possible.
Well, you're making everything easy today. So Christy, thank you so much for being here. Jessica, thank you.
Yeah.
She had to leave for
sorry. It was a demo that rescheduled a couple times. And so I wanted to make sure that we connected with them. So thank you for understanding. And I appreciate the time, Anne. I really do.
Well, you are so welcome. And thank you for being here. And if you're listening to us, we'll see you in November 12th to the 14th. And the most important thing for anybody listening is to keep doing you. Thank you, Referral Lab. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Jessica and Cameron. Dude number 306. We'll see you on the road. All right.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Anne Duffy. To learn more about dental entrepreneur women, to share your story, or to join the movement, please visit our website, do.life. That is DEW.life. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app to make sure you don't miss an episode. And in the meantime, keep doing you.